Harihi Om. Sai Ram, Vanakkam, Namaskar, Vandhanam, Assalamu Alaikum, and Sat Shri Akal. We looked at gratitude. To have that quality of gratitude, one must be sincere. So today, we explore the word called sincerity. Remember, every word that I choose may seem kindred, but they are distinct in their own way, right? For example, happiness. We looked at happiness some weeks back, and then we saw contentment, and you can see the difference. So perhaps when you look at certain words, you will apply them to your own lives in the context in which, they are meant to be applied. So sincerity, well, simple take would be the quality of being in a state of sincereness, honesty of the mind, one who's not an hypocrite, a sincere person, right? Or the absence of pretense or deceit, right? Means one is sincere. Perhaps an example of sincerity is a person who really means everything that he says or promises. The quality or condition of being sincere, genuine, honest, and free from duplicity. So is there such a thing as a sincere person? Means he must have the following criteria or characteristic, right? Well, if you're having trouble with either being sincere or trying to come up with a definition of what is or who is sincere, then perhaps you can think about these things, right? I mean, sincere people perhaps are honest and genuine. So, if you're honest, you're genuine, you're sincere. They keep their word, you're sincere. They don't use flattery to get what they want. They are just direct, and they don't, whitewash their words. And they express, gratitude and gratefulness for what people do to them, right? So against that background, you might want to think, how sincere you are. But let me tell you the story about this seeker, the sincere seeker, who was fed up with all the religions of the world. He says, I'm sure there is a religion out there that is, absolutely sincere and has no hidden agenda, right? So he started going from country to country, from land to land to discover, that authentic religion. Finally, he found a group of people of extraordinary fame, right? He was so taken, they were known for the goodness of their lives, for the sincereness and for the singleness of their hearts. That's the sincerity of their service. And he stayed there for a couple of months, and then he said, I see everything you do. The seeker said, and I'm so impressed by it. But before I become your disciple, I have a question to ask of you. So the sort of chief there asked him, yes, please, what's your question? He said, does your God do miracles? The chief looked at him and smiled at him, and he said, well, it all depends on your sincerity and what you think a miracle means. Then the guy was confused. He said, what do you mean, my sincerity? And what do you mean, what I think of a miracle is? Well, some people call it a miracle when God does the will of people. But we in this group, in this fraternity, we call it a miracle when people do the will of God, because that is when they are most sincere. So the guy was so taken aback. So would you describe yourself as a sincere seeker? Yes? Why? You need to ask yourself that question, right? And how would you describe or define the phrase will of God? If you're such a sincere person, honest and all of that, what would you say to that word, will of God? Of course, I've spoken about karma before, but, karma is not the will of God. Karma is the consequence of your own actions, whether it be by your thoughts, your words, your actions. So don't face a consequence in life and then go in front of God and say, you made this happen. No, he didn't. He gave you a choice. a conscious choice that you made that has produced these events. Remember, sincerity makes the very least person to be of more value than the most talented hypocrite. Let me repeat that. Sincerity makes the very least person to be of more value than the most talented hypocrite, right? Confucius. Sincerity is the face of the soul, the Buddha. And I think I mentioned this some couple of weeks back, right? Sincerity is an expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. Sincerity is an expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people, right? Because it's not, it doesn't mean, not to say everything you think, but to mean everything you say. Till I see you next week. Stay blessed. Sai Ram. Take care.